One time for your mind, two time for your drinks. It is Tuesday night. We put some on your head before you go to bed. It is Nightcap Knowledge. My name is DJ George Chuck. Some people know me as Chuck. Some people know me as Chucky. Some people know me as Daddy. Some people know me as Dog. Dog. Well, at the end of the day, that's neither here nor there. We are here, as I said, to put some on your head before you go to bed. Share this live right now. Share this live right now. We are live on Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, all over the place. This is a multicast. This is a live cast. This is a pod show. The show will begin shortly. Share this right now. We need your support. We need your help. Let somebody know where we at. It's Nightcap Knowledge. But before we get into the show, I've got to give you a couple of announcements. We've got the Mississippi Black Business Expo presented by Higher Purpose, featuring the Ujamaa Market, the Shakula Food Court, and the Ujima Sessions. It's all going down 11/11/23 at Tougaloo College. That's Tougaloo, Mississippi. We will shop, we will learn, we will build. We've got speakers, we've got businesses, we've got food trucks. If you want to get your place in the face, your face in the place, your business in the business, you need to scan that QR code or go to Linktree MS Black Pages. You know what it is. It's the 6th time that we've done what we've done. But it might be the 8th because we did 2 digital ones. So we really don't know. But if we count the digital ones, it's the 8th one. So you know what it is. The 8th annual Mississippi Black Business Expo. It is real time. It is not digital this time. It's real time. Shop, learn, build. 11/11/23. Tougaloo College, Tougaloo, Mississippi. You know what we're talking about. Now, one more thing. Your voice matters at ALC. It is the annual legislative conference in Washington, D.C. It's all going down the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation. If you need more info about this, cbcfnic.org/ALC. That's a lot right there. That's a lot. But you all know it's going down Feel Good Friday at Hemp World South. 2-for-1 slushies, 50% off most products. You know the address, man. 4270 Robinson Road, Jackson, Mississippi. And it's Labor Day weekend coming up. Don't have plans? We got you covered. Hemp World South. Pop-up shopping party featuring DJ Mailman in the mix. B&B Barbecue on the Grill. Vendors, hookah, flour, 2-for-1 slushies, all of that. You want to vend? Holla at Mac. He can tell you more about it in the show. And it's time to get this party started. Let's go. Hey, come on. Come on. I got the 1993 up in this. Come on. Little shiny. Shiny. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about? Mr. Mac. Mr. Mac, you're muted. You know I have to mute you. I muted you. Go ahead, brother.
What is the deal, Pickle?
Hey, buddy, we over here trying to hold it in the roll, baby. Keep him swerving.
Holding the road, keep it between the mayonnaise and the mustard.
Come on with it. On top of the black top.
There it is, man. Hey, man, everybody that's tuning in, y'all know what it is. This show is rated Black and Uncensored, real talk, real issues, real solutions. We're gonna tell it like a TI is. There's a whole lot going on in the country, the state, the city. It's a whole lot. We don't even know where to start. We don't know where to start there, brother.
Well, look, uh, Tater Tot and his folk. Let me not
Oh,
disrespect. Tater Tots are very good,
yeah. Shout
meal.
out to the real tater tots.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
no
yeah.
disrespect to anybody that cooks tater tots at Sonic or our
My
food
my
vendors out
house,
there
my
at your
house.
house. Yeah, all of that,
Tater
man.
tot casseroles, all
Yeah,
that good shit. Yeah,
yeah, man.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. We're
yeah.
talking about
Reeves.
the illegitimate stepchild of Agent Orange. He's following his game plan and just saying, just the ignorance. You see, when you talk about certain people, Chuck, you can't even use proper grammar. You gotta just say it. You know what I'm saying? You gotta tell it like a TI is. The ignorant shit you ever might want to hear. You like, who thought of that? Did you think of that? And somebody, and who let you say that?
Yeah, yeah.
And let's just go back again to uh conservativeness and how I always say uh
Conservatism. You got to say conservatism.
conservatism.
Conservativeness. It leans to you being, a
Yeah,
particular type of person, but
yeah,
conservatism, it speaks
yeah.
directly to those that identify with a certain particular trait of the Republican Party.
It has no basis in factual data or information. It's just a mindset. And you're like, yeah, we're just gonna do it because that's what we're gonna do. And we're like, why? Because. And you're looking like, but it don't make sense. Yes, it does. And you're like, here's what I had an issue with, right?
Hey, hold on, man. Now, hey,
Hold on. Oh, we got to get into our stuff. We got to get into our book.
you didn't, you didn't jump straight into the conversation, in terms of election. But
No,
shout
no, no, no. I was gonna say election. I was gonna talk about the tater tot. But big shout out Facebook user talking about your ketchup.
you mean racism? Yes. Yeah. All right. Look. So Facebook user, we need you to click this link that we got in the comments so we can see who you are. We got your comment up there, but just click that
Yeah.
link. Give the necessary permissions, and then we'll be able to see who you are. Give you a shout out, proper shout out.
But so let's back up. Let's do
Well,
our mental health minute and I what's the groove before we dive into this foolishness, bro. And yeah, let's flip this thing around. Oh, what you drinking tonight, Chuck?
I am partaking in. It's a combination of things. It's a cocktail. Since we're
Hmm.
not doing the mental health minute right now, I'll take that down. So the base of it is a hair dura, of course, which is one of our
Hmm.
brands that we
Big
represent.
shout out to Larry Lincoln Obama.
Yeah, and I've mixed a coconut liqueur with
Yeah.
a pineapple from Simply. So you've got the Herradura tequila, coconut liqueur with a little bit of pineapple juice in there to round it
Hmm.
out. What you think,
I,
man?
tequila and lemonade is not bad.
It's not. It is
Yeah.
not. It's become
Yeah.
very popular, but I think that was the thing that we used to do back in the day.
Yeah. I don't like tequila, but I like Terramana. I like
Really?
El Mayor, and I like Herrador more than I like. Yeah, I like Herrador.
Yeah,
Um,
Mac. That
but
have you had the ultra, like the ultra?
big shout out to DJ Cujo. When you got a bottle that looked like P Diddy on it, that bottle he had posted.
Yeah,
I was like,
brother.
did he just get that from P Diddy's house? Where did he get that from? Did P Diddy meet him in Atlanta with that bottle?
The
It
ultra.
just, oh my god! I was like, man, the bottle by itself looked like it's expensive and it tastes good.
Let me take.
I need to try it out.
Hold on.
Oh, there you go. There he go.
This is not the ultra, and we're totally off task and off subject.
We
This
we gonna wind it back. We're gonna round it back.
look at
What you
this.
got?
This the legend.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's
Yeah,
the one I'm
that
talking
right
about.
there, boy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
put
It's
that
in a
back.
coffin and everything. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Put that
Well,
back.
I'm doing something different
Out the
today.
hair door,
I got the Josh, and I
man.
got the Josh Legacy Blend.
We know a lot
So
of
I'm
good
doing a little
Joshes.
wine. Yeah, yeah. Big shout out to Josh Devin.
Yeah, yeah.
Virgo's in the house.
Shout
Virgo
out to
season.
my dog. Shout out
Virgo
to,
season.
there you go. Amen. I got my handy dandy cup. And look, I should have put it in this glass tonight, man. Look at
What's
that.
that? Oh yeah,
Should have put it in there, man.
you should, man. You should. You should. But the mental health minute for tonight is something that we cannot continue, we cannot say this enough about be the best you.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people are not comfortable with you and how you do. I'm talking about in a positive manner, and they always want to see you do something different because that's what's comfortable for them. You have to continue to be your best you. Know who you are and whose you are. And meaning that's sometimes because so many people are telling you who you are and who you're supposed to be and who you belong to. You have to know that. Embrace all your differences, embrace your talents, your strengths. Be your own weird. If you're gonna be weird, be your own weird. Don't be
But
mimicking anybody else. Be you, right? And as my big mama would say, I am who I am, teeth and tongue, right? So you be that person and regardless of who like it and who don't, be your best you. It's always good to evolve and continue to get better, but don't forget who you are as you continue to move forward through life. So, what's the groove, Chuck?
man, look, appreciate that mental health minute, Mac. It definitely is something that we can commit to our everyday mode of operation, like being your best self. And that honestly, that is what the premise that Black with No Chaser was founded on. Is like, how can you walk in as your whole self, and then immediately, because of the place that you're walking into, you have to change who you are. So being able to walk in as your whole black ass self, and as weird as you might be, um, you might like soccer, and all of your buddies like football and basketball, and you're like, yeah, that really ain't my jam. Or you got a sigma, a kappa, an omega, and an alpha sitting at the bar. That's real life for some people. It sounds like a bad joke, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. It sounds like a terrible joke, but a great time. Um, in terms of what the groove is with me, man, we've been all over the place doing these audio visual jobs, and the thing that I've come to understand is when and this goes to social justice. It goes to knowing who you are and having a place that can affirm the person that you are and who you aspire to be. uh I walk in as me. I walk in talking like this. I tell people that, yeah, they ask me, well, where are you from? I'm like, well, you want to know where I'm from or where I live? And I say, well, they ask, well, where are you from? I say, well, I'm from Mobile, Alabama. I say, I grew up digging graves. Well, where do you live? I live in Gulfport. Well, what do you do? How did you get to this? I say, well, I went to this place called Tougaloo. A what? So I say all this to say this, man. Um, One of the things that I've been praying for consistently, and one of the things that I have conversations about, is you have to always find your groove. The place where I found my groove was Tougaloo College. But one of the things that I felt like I was missing later on in life, I guess once I matriculated through Tougaloo word. Shout out to all the Tougalooans in the comments. Um, Once I matriculated through Tougaloo, I had a mentor in Houston. Shout out to the bruh, Spring 90 T, Janky Joe. I had a mentor in Chaplain Johnson, and still have a mentor in Chaplain Johnson, but those were fraternal mentors. And I feel like one of the things that I personally lacked in terms of business was somebody that was able to identify exactly the niche and the talent that I had been able to develop. And being able to carve out a particular skill set and then know what that skill set is and then how to market it, um and to have someone that can offer advice on these things, it's a it's a different set of circumstances to have. So the thing that I'm asking of folks in the comments that are they're chiming in with us right now, I would definitely like to encourage you, if you see talent, if you are able to recognize talent, if you recognize that talent, try everything you can do, every opportunity that you have, to make sure that you affirm and then also invest in that person that has that talent, because you can put them light years ahead of where they could be without help. Why do I say that? I say that because I've reflected and imagined and reimagined where I could be with Yard Boy Entertainment, where Mac and I could be with Mississippi Move. All of the business ideas, and the thing is, all of these ideas are blessings from God. Imagine where we could be if we had just had one mentor or even a person to say, hey, you've been able to get all these DJs together. You should legitimize this business. This is how I'm going to advise you to do it. I'm going to hold your feet to the fire. If you hit these benchmarks, I will do X, Y, and Z for you. If you don't, no love lost. So I want to give a shout out to a person that lit a fire under me. He wasn't like directly a business mentor, but he was one of those quiet messengers that the preacher talks about. That the people that come by and they just drop some in your spirit. Shout out to Bro Beasley. Bro Beasley said one time, he was like, I imagine what Yard Boy or any of the businesses that George Chuck Patterson is involved in could be if he fully devoted himself. And I'm paraphrasing. He wrote this. He's a great writer. So I'm reflecting on this. Where could you be right now if you devoted just a bit more time? If you did 50%, if you did 25%, some of us definitely ain't even putting in 10%, and we go to church and we give 10% worth of tithes, because we're looking for this supernatural increase when the increase that we need, or that little edge that we need, is already within us. Now, what does that mean for me? That means I haven't done everything that I needed to do, even at this point, and I've seen some measure of success. We still have work to do in the conversation that we'll have in the next 30 to 35 minutes. We'll talk about what mentorship looks like. We're going to talk about Coco Gauff. We're going to talk about even elections, and then also we'll round it out with the environmental justice, because that's something that Mac and I have become more aware of, more cognizant of, and how it affects the average person. And we just want to pass on the knowledge that we are that we're gaining every day as we read, as we research, as we learn more, as we do more. So what's the groove, man? Like Chaplain John say, go and grow. And if you ain't going and you ain't got no people with you, ain't got nobody to guide you along the way, you really ain't growing, and you really ain't going nowhere. So shout out to a Facebook user that's blowing the comments up, if you could, so we can give you some proper credit. Hit that link right there. Let us know who you are. I know you're in one of our Facebook groups, so we appreciate y'all for chiming in with us. And Matt, bro, we got to talk about Coco Gauff. Have you seen what was going on? Like, have you seen? I just unmuted you, bro.
No, and what I don't want to speculate, so I would say kind of give us a brief overview of what's happening right now with
All right.
what happened.
All right. So Coco Gauff is playing in the Open, right? She's a tennis player. If you're in the comments out there and you know anything about tennis and anything about the U.S. Open, just jump in
And
right
I know
now.
Mike Tyson went there to watch, right? I think Mike Tyson was one of the people that went there in person.
Yeah. So US Open 2023. A lot of people are there. She played this person named what is her name? Siegmund. And this is the first round. I think it was at Arthur Ashe Stadium, right? And there was a situation where Coco found herself being the bigger person. You know that high road, when they go low, we go high. Was it Michelle Obama? Who did? Who said that? Michelle. Yeah, there you go. So Michelle Obama say, when they go low, we go high. Coco was taking the high road, dog. Coco was taking the high road. So Coco took the high road. She was like, all right, cool. Because she went down one set, lost the first set, right? She comes back, wins 2 straight sets. But in the midst of this match, I think that her opponent, Coco's opponent, who cried white tears at some point in press conference or whatever. She cried white tears, and she was attempting to play mind games. And tennis is a mental game because it's you versus a person, and then you have a utensil and a ball. So a lot like baseball, you got a pitcher throwing the ball, and then you got to do something with it. Now, here's the thing. Tennis is supposed to be a sport of, and I don't want to say a gentleman's sport, but a sport of respect, where if you take a particular amount of time, you should at some point be respectful to the person that you're playing against. So a number of times, Coco's opponent went way over her time allotted for serving and was not ready as it relates when Coco was getting ready to serve. Now, what does that mean? That means that if Coco has a particular rhythm that she gets into when she's preparing to serve, and you're not ready, and the umpire or the ref is not calling you on your bullshit, that means that you're trying to at some point throw Coco off a game. But there's supposed to be a certain level of respect. Now, I'm going to pull up this video, and it's for information purposes only. I'm gonna pull up this video, and I'm gonna show it, and then Mac, I want you to give me your honest opinion about what is happening. And Mac, this is Mac's first time seeing this. Okay, so here we go. I'm getting this pulled up. This is Laura Siegmund. She's a European. I think she might be from Germany. And we're gonna watch it live right here on Nightcap Knowledge, and we'll see what Mac's honest response is. Right? Here we go.
I mean, at the end of the day, I go home.
Mac, can you see that?
It's the first time I'm crying in a press conference. I thought you're, as a tennis player, you are a performer. You owe the people. You owe the kids that watch. You owe the people that buy tickets for a lot of money. And I'm just a bit. I mean, at the end of the day, I go home and I can look at myself and I can say I did a great job. But did I get anything from the people for that? I didn't. Maybe it's not zero. Maybe it feels like zero right now.
This is large.
But it feels pretty much like a flat zero. Even less than a zero, because they treated me bad. Like, they treated me like I was a cheater, like I was like trying, sneaky ways to win this match or something. They treated me like I was a bad person. But there are people who are throwing rackets, who are screaming, who are like making bad gestures toward the audience. I did not one moment in the whole match, and there was a lot of tension going on. Not one moment I did anything. I was just slow. And that's something in the rule. I get my time violation. That's fine. Yeah. No, I don't know.
All right, Mac. What you think, bro? And you know what? Let me do this. Let me give you full context. I'm going to play another video where Coco gives her words to the ref. All right, we're gonna get out of this ad. We ain't gonna get no free promo.
5 minutes this game. No, but a little bit mercy. I mean, every umpire is doing that. No, you don't, and we know it. You're smiling even because you know it.
I'm just asking you. She went over the clock like 4 times. You gave her time violation once. How is this fair? No, you're calling the score after the point is over. It's not like we're playing 1 point. You're calling the score like 6 seconds after the point is over.
Yeah, she's 100% right.
You missed her like 4 times. She's never ready.
To the towel.
Oh, right.
There's a point. Point penalty.
All right, bud. Come on with it. What you think? Come on.
So it seems like in football they talk about freezing the kicker, right? So you're trying to intentionally throw her off the game. But again, as you think about golf, tennis, it's a gentleman and a lady sport, right? It's a different. It's not a very hardcore type of sport. You know, it's something that people used to be of a certain class air would play professionally, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to know how to conduct yourself. So it's like you did all this shit. It didn't work. You still lost. Now you want sympathy and empathy from the people because you're giving these tears. You know, and just from watching that short bit, you know, they knew even the announcers was like, yeah, she's right. You know, they're talking about she's right. So it's like now you want to try to make up for why you lost. Now, if you had a won, you wouldn't have had nothing to say. But now you want to come up with something to make an excuse for why you lost, and you want to draw some type of sympathy from somebody. No, man, that shit's so old. That movie is like 1930, 1888. You know what I'm saying? Like that's an old film of trying to get empathy when you brag or do different things and you lose. And so I don't know. I know it's a lot of talk about the sister and the accomplishments she's been making.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, when you start looking at America's teams that are kicking tail, majority of them look like us, right? When you start talking about for who's leading in the country and who's leading in the world when it comes to these different sports, like just saw what happened with track, right? So it's like we get out there and then they're still looking for something to take you down, another thing, another chopping block, something that's going to bring you down a different, to a different level.
Yeah.
As we relate to what we see going on in our own state on things, right? Yes, yeah. I'm glad she handled it well. She went to the person that was in charge, and she dealt with them to create the accountability and responsibility. Because this is what your job is, right?
Hey, bud. Hey, this sums it up right here. It's the tennis version of Agent Orange losing the election. Like, but you are under federal indictment, and now you have been brought up in the state of Georgia on charges.
But guess what?
What?
They asked the candidates. Everybody up there said they would still support him if he became president. He could go to jail and he could still become president.
I bet you
Because
my
of his
black ass
charge.
go to jail. I couldn't be president of nothing.
Shit, your black ass go to jail. You might lose your insurance. Something that ain't got nothing to do. But it's how the system is, and they're going above and beyond. The system that they created to keep a lot of folks like us and other folks out, they have been destroying their own system to make way for certain people. Like I said, nobody's above the law, nobody's above this. Well, no, they've been going above and all around Like if someone steals out of Dollar General, they get locked up immediately. You steal $90+ million from TANF, and hey, we got to handle this with kid gloves and delicately.
You get a like
That's
if
why they call white collar. So we had this conversation one time about blue collar crimes, white collar crimes.
Yeah.
All right, blue collar. What's blue collar work? Average everyday person to get out there, work
Hands
hard,
on.
sweat, right, hands on. Blue collar work. You rob somebody, you get 25 years because you had a weapon. White collar crime, white collar job. You dealing with computers, investments. You somewhere, 9 to 10. You're dealing with multi-million dollars, and you might not be taking money from that person directly, but you have a way to get it. You make 1,200 people become damn near homeless because you stole all their pension. There's no pension left, and you still you get to go to your mansion and go to sleep, and
Right.
you get to do all that.
Get to play tennis in the federal penitentiary.
You ain't made it there yet. You ain't made it that far yet, right?
Yeah.
I'm looking at bond. I'm looking at bond for young black males that might get caught up in certain counties when it's $500,000, $700,000. You gave him $200,000 bond, and he didn't even pay all. He just paid 10%, $20,000. It's a society. It's a culture thing. Goes back to what we're saying here, that your governor thought it was important enough to talk about mask mandates and how we're not going to live in fear, but you had nothing to say about those officers that's supposed to be sworn to protect and serve.
Yeah.
Sodomizing somebody in your county, right?
Yeah, you haven't released any statement about that.
Nothing to say about that.
Nothing to say.
No concern, right? No concern. But they pick and choose, and that's why I say us, for people that have some sense, you can't get caught up into these conversations and start to play off. You got to stick to what's that needs to be taken care of. We're still talking about global warming. We're still talking about how we're going to feed people. We're still talking about organizing. We're still talking about local elected officials and the importance of education, financial literacy, because you get caught into those big conversations and you'll get distracted.
Exactly.
And it takes away from the foundation. These are the examples that all the stuff we talk to children about and other folks about, the fear factor that if you are able to achieve something where you might end up, or by you winning, it creates hope in other little black girls around the world, around the country, other little black boys around the country, other black men, other black women. And you don't want that to happen because that changes the norm. If the norm changes, that means it's going to be some flipping. It's going to be some things that's going to, the people that has the power and the who's are going to change. And you have decided who's going to play what role in this skit. And we are, we are that group that's going to be at this position.
But when we do things that mess up the algorithm, and for those of you that are chiming in with us right now, please take this link right here at streamyard.com/Facebook. Go to there and give the necessary permission so that we can properly recognize you and give you a credit for your comment. But when we start to do things that disrupt the algorithm, right? When we start to do things like Coco and every other African American, Negro, child of the diaspora athlete, when we start to do things that disrupt the algorithm, things like what Coco's opponent has done today become more prevalent. And then you try to do the proverbial quote unquote who they are, they attempt, as you said, Mac, to distract us with certain things. So the thing is, in terms of elections, in terms of athletics, in terms of everything that we are involved in, we got to stay focused on the prize. So now, switching gears to elections, it's election season. Today was a runoff. It's Tuesday, right? Mac, can you give us a rundown of what took place in Jackson or the central Mississippi area as it
Well,
relates to the primary runoff in the state of Mississippi?
when I tell you that it has been some upsets, it has been some upsets. Um, so two of our friends, folks we know personally that come on this show, uh, they did not win the seat they were seeking. Um, and we don't, we know they didn't win. Um, so that was kind of, unexpected, not knowing how it was going to play out. There has been a big upset with the supervisor board. Um, three new supervisors came in the last term, and if I'm not mistaken, all three of those supervisors are out now.
Mm. That's heavy now.
All three. Um, and those who lost the race from, I know there's still litigation going on with David Archie race. Um, Calhoun is out, and I just heard that Gavin is out. Um, and actually, his opponent was Ms. Wanda Evers, the daughter of Mr. Charles Evers.
Mm-hmm.
So it has been some changes. It has been some things that transpired on the legislative Mississippi State legislature level. Still trying to follow up on some other supervisor race um, in other counties. Just got to continue to follow up and check on that and other sheriff races too. So if anybody out there, if you got some updates in your county or the area where you are on the runoff, drop your information in the comments. Let us know what it looks like. I know there was a couple other runoffs, but this is going to be very interesting to see how some of the folks work together and the outlook on things are going to be in the next 4 years. It's still got a lot of work, a whole lot of work.
So Matt, you mentioned 4 years, man. You mentioned
Mhm.
4 years. I've had a recent conversation, and it was kind of the kickoff episode of the next iteration of What's the Groove or In the Mix or whatever we're gonna call it. Whatever I'm gonna call it. I had a conversation with the newly appointed or newly chosen or designated Mississippi Democratic Party leader or chair.
Mhm.
My frat brother Sheck Taylor, representative out of the area of Starkville, to keep it simple, right? So Sheck is now the newly appointed Democratic Party leader, and Sheck says that he has ambitions to begin to organize outside of the election cycle. So that means like we're not just doing stuff the year of the election. He's saying that he wants to do things 4, 8, 16 years out. So one of the things that Matt, you and I have spoken about at length as it relates to we don't have a Democratic Party in Mississippi. Like, and this is no endorsement or disapproval of anybody. We're just telling the facts. Like Kanye said, George Bush don't care about black people. Tate Reeves don't care about black people. The thing is, I care about people that look like me and people that care about people that look like me. Like Mac is my brother. I don't want to see Mac fail. So I try to do things to help my brother. Now, if my next door neighbor looks different from me, do I want to see my next door neighbor fail? No. I want my house value to remain where it is or grow past it, regardless of what my next door neighbor looks like. So proximity is one thing, but then also affinity is another thing. We have shared struggle. So I identify with Mac and his struggle because it is my struggle. Now, in terms of proximity, I'm gonna cut my grass because I want my neighbor to be like, man, that's a good neighbor. I'm gonna keep crap out my yard because I want my neighbor to be like, that's a good neighbor. Now, back to the point. What does it look like for us to have as a state a party that rivals the dominant or the party that has been in power the longest with the last 20, would you say 30 years? Maybe more? Is it possible for the Democratic Party to organize outside of the cycle? Come on.
I think you got to look at what you want your party to look like first. When you decide what you want a party to look like, and then what's your base going to be, then that'll help determine, you know, on what things are going to, what things are going to be like for you for your recruitment. But the game plan, the structure, people, it's just like when you play the sport. You heard how bad the team that you played, and you go like, well, we're gonna lose, so, but we're gonna go out there and we're gonna do our best. How you said you're gonna lose, and then you're gonna say you're gonna go out there and do your best, right?
No, you
So
defeated already.
you defeated already. So you know that that party has more money. So what is your game plan? And I think I was telling you like before, like you got to have money or time. So you got to make sure that you got to say what the division look like. People want to be part of a winning team, so they gonna look at what power do you have, what have you been able to do, and they want to know that before you start bringing people in to strengthen your numbers.
Yeah.
And because you in this for Mississippi, the Democratic ticket and Republican ticket pretty much black and white. Literally, the white folks are Republicans, black folks are Democrat. You got a sprinkle of white folks that run on Democratic ticket. But for as history has shown us, a lot of them run in the Democratic area, and they get there, and then it's different if one person do it. But you like had South Mississippi one year, 6 of the political officials switch parties. It was an orchestrated plan. That's what they do, and there's no penalty against it to switch parties.
Yeah.
So you got to show what this really looked like. It's pretty much you're going to mirror what are they doing to have a strong party. But what is the basis of their strength? Is their strength based in party lines or racism, conservatism? What is the basis of their strength? So that's you got to find out. Is their strength based in hate? I'm just telling like it is, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna go back to Dr. Rosman one-on-one. We're gonna dive back into Steve Rosman, and he start talking about political theory.
Let me bring up all the body then. Come on.
All about it. I'm emotionally all about it. You up there, my class? You cannot spell my name. Shout out to Tuglu and the characters that we had to say. Oh man. But so understanding the dynamics of politics, but also the culture. So in social work, you talk about theory versus practice. And everything else is the same thing. What's the theory? What is the structure? Well, the policy says this, but what's the real practice? What happens?
What's the real live application?
That's what happens. So the policy says, oh, this is what it's supposed to look like. This is what the Republican Party, the Independent Party, da-da-da-da-da. But when you actually see in actual workings of it, how does it run? It's more of they on the same side, regardless if they like each other or not. They sticking with the overall plan.
Yeah.
And you continue to see that. I will bring up 1020. You said we want to do something for Jackson because of what's going on. We want to help.
You talking about House Bill 1020?
Right. You
Okay.
did not bring any of the Hinds County delegation into this. And all of just about every of the conservative white Republican members of the House and Senate supported it. You don't even spend no time. You don't spend no time in Jackson. Some of y'all don't barely come when it's time to be in session. But you cared that much about Jackson to put this in place,
We
or
care.
are you just following the plan?
You followed it. They had a playbook.
That's it.
They ran the play.
That's the play, right? And it was just so much back and forth. For us, we always talk about reaching across the lines. We always talking about, we don't want to be there. We always taking the soft shoe route out instead of saying, no, if I'm going down swinging.
Hey, bud.
And I'm not begging for basic necessities when you know it's the right thing to do. I ain't kissing your ass for basic necessities. I'm not selling out and supporting you on a certain bill when you know that people need money for food or they need money for water. And you asking me to, well, if you do this, I'll do that. Right. And people gotta see you fighting the hard fight. That creates momentum. That creates the strength because they support you and they have your back.
Let me say it. Let me say it like this. I think that people need to see us aim at teeth. Like when you walk in as your whole entire self, when you're able to channel your inner Coco or to channel your inner who OG original gangster that always said things like if you want Frank Lucas, if you want to go fictional, if you want to shout out to my Uncle Ronnie and Uncle Freddie, like channel your inner Freddie, channel your inner Ronnie, and walk in like a gangster, say what you have to say, and then in the need of it, aim at their teeth.
That's how it sound when you hit, and they go down like, listen, my uncle George, and his nickname, you met Uncle Buddy, right?
Yeah.
Back in the day, right? And he used to had a quartet group, and back in the day, and they had been traveling all night and went to one of the hotels and said, I want to get a room. And he told them that, well, we don't let y'all kind of stay here. And he said, well, listen, it's storming, and I ain't going no further. And the man looked at him and said, you ain't scared. You different. Now, Buddy said, I don't scratch my head unless it itch. Right? Now, mind you, now, my big mama, his mother sent him away from Mississippi when he was like 14, 15 years old because Uncle Buddy was 6'3". And at that time, when you saw him, he was like 300 pounds. And he knew that either one of them white folk going to kill him or he going to end up killing one of them.
Hey,
and and because that's how he didn't back up. His brothers were the same way, right? Uncle Jess, Uncle Lee, Uncle Son, but he's 6'3", 300 pounds.
Yeah.
It's different when they come from somebody that size, right?
It is.
Even the stories I heard from my Uncle Jesse, same way. And my Uncle Jesse told me, he said, every time you don't show fear, he said he learned this from one of his uncles that he got it from.
Mm-hmm.
They always say that nigga crazy or that nigga crazy, right?
Yeah.
Anytime you don't show fear, because psychologically, when they show a presence of authority in whatever manner it may be, we supposed to tuck head, soft shoe, or just talk loud and not do anything.
Mm-hmm.
But when you do something or show that you will do something, it's something wrong with you because you are not doing what you've been programmed to do.
Yeah.
When you get a chance, there's a guy from my hometown, and again, they never talk about people that fought back. Even from the Haitian Revolution, we ain't got to go that far. We can talk about right here. From Holmes County, a guy named Ed Noel. Ed Noel, right? And you might find some information about him. But he was a World War II vet. He was a sharpshooter. And they had an issue one night, and they thought they were going to hang them a good Negro. And they chased them in the woods.
Mm-hmm.
It did not end like they thought. Sharpshooter.
Mm-hmm.
22 rifle. They chased him in the woods. World War II vet. Nah, they didn't think that he was smart enough to be leading them into a setup. Did not end the way they thought. So, but that's someone that stood up and fought, and there's nothing that talked about because again, it's like we got the reverse race theory. You don't want to talk about the things that actually happen because sometimes you can gather strength when you know that actually people that fought back and worked together. And I always point this out in 2015, Culture versus Competency, Culture Competency course. He talked about how we were moving towards more individualistic mentality versus collective.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many things that subliminally happen to us from movies, radio, music, whatever the case may be. We don't think as a group, a collective, or even as a family. We divide individuals. And we always talk about this. You can easily, in martial arts or anything else, you can grab a finger. Easily grab one finger, Chuck. But when that finger like this, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to pull it apart, hard to get it. When we are united, it's hard to come and grab a Chuck or for Chuck, or even using the bird mentality, or like, what I'm saying, when you see like they never let you fall, right? When you are united for a common goal and you're not seeing your brother and sister as the enemy or competing with you or that type of thing, that you're actually using your talents and blessings to
Collaboration
support
over competition.
the collective. What is
Yep.
your strength? That's what you do. And get out of that mentality of, you know what, I don't never see Chuck pick up nothing heavy. Chuck, come on, help me load this. Be like, why do you want to see Chuck pick up something heavy when he's making t-shirts and DJing? I don't ever see him do nothing.
Look, Mac,
But
I found a
stupid.
thing on Eddie Noel,
Okay.
and I'm putting it in the comments for everybody that's asking about it right now.
Mhm.
Check that out. But I want to ask you, and I want us to have this conversation around, because we've made the connection between Coco Gauff and election season,
Right.
right? How do we make the connection between Coco Gauff, election season, and then now environmental justice? Because we've got some comments that have come in from brother Lars, and then a couple more people that are chiming in. If you're enjoying the conversation, please give us a thumbs up. But then also, if you would like to have your name and pick on screen so we can properly address you, please use this link, streamyard.com/Facebook. So do that for us so that we can have this conversation with you. We're talking politics, we're talking sports, and we're also talking us being better stewards of the environment.
Environmental.
So, Mac, this environmental justice thing, man, we went to a conference and we were exposed, and this ain't our first time having this conversation around environmental justice, but it's through a new lens. So we're looking at environmental justice from a lens of how we can organize around it with the work that we do through Mississippi Move. Meaning that if we don't engage in electoral politics, then we're putting ourselves as a collaborative or a collective at a disadvantage. So let's say all of us are collaborating. We got a core group of people, core group of organizations, core group of communities that are collaborating. How do we need to understand what environmental justice means as it relates to the overall success of our economic systems, our community ecosystem, and then honestly, long term for the state and the country?
So it's a lot of positions that are connected to so much that we don't know about, because we know about certain political positions because they come to our neighborhood, they come to your church, they come to your school. A few years ago, there was a sign. Um, it was a sign in out front in our neighborhood for a guy running for public service commission.
Mm-hmm.
And big shout out to Dr. Thompson. I spoke in her class a couple times, and I heard some of my classmates was complaining about their lights was out and they were mad at the city of Jackson. And I was like, city of Jackson has nothing to do with your lights.
I ain't got
They're
nothing to
like,
do with it.
I said, the Public Service Commissioner regulates the utility company. They're like, what's the Public Service Commission? That's a position that is three positions in the state. That's a northern, central, and a southern. But they regulate the utility companies to make sure that you are getting the proper usage and billing. Well, why is that an issue? How is that connected? Because a lot of times it's been stated and shown that in our areas and where we are from, we don't have the proper transformers, proper lighting in the Black community. Our bills are usually higher, and usually because it got outdated equipment or whatever the case may be. But who's responsible for regulating and holding them accountable? That's an environmental issue because when stuff happens, you've seen growth in certain areas where it has not been maintained to make sure they continue to properly work. But that person, we never knew about who that person was. We
Right.
never knew that they were responsible for that. Nobody ever educated us on that until we saw that person run for office, and it just so happens that they put those signs in our neighborhood. Um, and then we started to learn more in depth about what actually happened. But there are a lot more people that are connected to that, right? Your Department of Transportation. So you start talking about the Transportation Commissioner. We didn't know who that person was until that person actually got elected. And exactly who they were responsible for and what they were responsible for. How does that's your bridges, your roadways, where environment affects that. When you have flooding, when you have erosion, you have things that are happening to the environment, that makes a big difference on how you transport and how you, if things are not properly upkept and fixed, then that makes a big difference in your day-to-day life. Again, usually where does it usually happens at? If they got to move around some funds and they got to fix, they only got enough funds to fix certain areas. What areas usually get fixed first?
Come on.
So the accountability of hiring someone or electing someone that's going to make sure that everyone is taken care of, and also know the areas that have been left out. You got some areas that have not been taken care of in 2 years, and some ain't been taken care of in 12 or
Come on.
longer. So you got to have someone that's going to advocate to make sure that the people that have the least get what they need. Environmental right now, Mississippi, that what's going to look like for Mississippi, we've been hearing it on a large scale. You hear people talk about on a federal level about global warming, and global warming is fake news. You hear all that, right? The Cheeto hand people.
Hold on. Do the imitation again.
Global warming is fake news, and then with the little Cheeto hands, and all that. But it's not right. The ozone layer
Certainly.
thinning. And my great uncle would say, "Boy, I've been working outside all my life, and it ain't never been this hot consistently. It's never been that we know of triple digits for 3 to 4 weeks to a month."
Hell yeah!
What does it look like in our community, Mississippi? You're gonna have flooding. You're gonna have storms. You're gonna have severe drought. How does it affect you? It affects your vegetation. It affects your plant. It affects your hay. Right now, it's a hay shortage
Come on.
because so if you don't get hay, that means your cows don't eat. And if your cows don't eat, that means you don't have good healthy cows to take to the sale barn, that go to the slaughterhouse, they come to your grocery store, that go to your plate,
Come on.
right? It's the ecosystem. It's a large ecosystem. Everything is connected. You don't have proper vegetation, that means things will dry up. So when you get ready, those who like to deer hunt, you want to make sure that you go deer hunting. Well, deer are gonna go where the proper vegetation is. That's where they're gonna head to.
Yep.
So everything is connected. Those who like to fish, when you have severe drought, that means your ponds are drying up or the water is going to be low in certain areas. The city of Jackson put out that their water system and utility system have been greatly affected by the extreme heat. Now, what can your public service commissioner or a public official do about the extreme heat? Nothing. Someone might think they got, but they not. It's nothing they can do.
Right.
But they can do things to properly prepare for the heat. They can do things to maintain during the heat. They can do things to help restore after the heat has done whatever damage it's going to do. but also you got to know the plan. You got to know what's coming down the pipeline and actually believe in it and believe that it is a real thing. You smiling, Chuck? What you see?
Hey man, shout out to whoever Facebook user is. If you want your comment to be recognized with your name and likeness, please visit the link streamyard.com/Facebook, streamyard.com/Facebook. That this particular person says, I didn't expect to hear a Trump impression on the show tonight. Can we get one of you to do his mugshot face? Laugh out loud.
Yeah, that's that little kid that you told that you gotta clean your room or you on punishment. That face.
Hold on,
Hey,
let me see if I
you got it, Chuck. You got it. You ready? Yep. That's it. That's it. The hair. You got to do the hair. You got to fix the hair. Yeah.
Hey, the fade ain't going for it, bro. The fade ain't going for it. Shout out to Dito, man. Yeah,
Hey, man.
twist it up by tomorrow. Twist it up.
We're at the point now when you take someone that probably have trouble spelling subject verb agreement as the leader of what's called the free world.
Lord have mercy.
And and we expected better out of y'all, and y'all used to want the smart Negro around or somebody, you want somebody with some sense, but y'all got to the point now where it's just more of ideology and just don't matter saying whatever. Don't matter if
the place that we are in as it relates to these United States or divided states of America. We, us, them, y'all would rather have the opportunity to say that we did it a particular way where we were able to keep people of color, black folk, Negroes out of this particular situation, meaning that no matter how much they were able to overcome, no matter how much they were able to dodge all of the bullets and dodge the potholes and the sabotage and the booby traps, no matter what we throw at them, these mugs, they just keep going. They find a way. Now, what does that really mean? It's not about them having particular principles. It's more so about there is something deep down that they believe that they are designed to be the antithesis of everything that we are. And the only time that they agree with anything is if it is the negative, meaning that everybody ain't gonna do right. Everybody's not gonna be a upstanding neighbor and be the person that tries to help the next man. Everybody ain't gonna be that. Like everybody ain't trying to live the golden rule. But that's life. Now, are the majority of people trying to be nice? Last time I checked, I ain't running into many enemies at Tougaloo College. Even when I went to visit USM, Alcorn, Jackson State, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, most times people were just really trying to hang out and have a great time. And if you just so happen to have a skill set, they were like, hey man, can we get together and do something? Can we collaborate? Most times it's truly collaboration over competition. Now, what does that mean? That means that at some point, a particular group of people started to identify with an ideology that is the direct opposite of everything that most good, decent people tend to roll with. Now, I have no idea who those people are that started to roll this particular type of way. But last time I checked, anybody who was the man on these streets was able to gather people. And when they gathered people, they gathered them around something that was going to benefit everybody. Communal people don't leave. People that really want the best for their community, they looking at it from the standpoint of, if I do this, is my mama gonna be proud of me? If I do this, is my grandmother, my grandfather, my dad, man, how is this gonna affect my family if I go and do this? Most people want to make it to the MLB, to the NFL, because it's gonna positively impact the family that allowed me to get here, that kept me out of harm's way. So you talk about environmental justice, you talk about Coco Gauff. Like, look, who is Coco? How did she get to where she was? The people who are in office right now, in wherever you are in the world, in the country, those people didn't get there by mistake. Even with us sitting here right now on Nightcap Knowledge, we're gonna round this thing out. We're gonna get to where the money resides. We did not arrive here on our own. We sit here on the shoulders, on the biceps, the backs, the trailer, the tailgate, the hitch of a whole bunch of people. So at the end of the day, if you think that Tate Reeves, if you think you got to where you are by yourself, hey buddy, you're sadly mistaken, because somebody had to vote for you. The wise thing for those of us that particularly did not vote for Tate Reeves, if we begin to have these conversations unapologetically wherever we are, because we most people that look like us and that frequent the places that we go, that we tend to abide in, we try to shy away from politics. Nah, player, it's time out for that. Because at the end of the day, if we don't get to the point where we're not discussing environmental justice, if we're not discussing the election seasons, if we're not planning in 4 and 8 and 16 year and 24 and 32 year cycles, if McRae doesn't know and understand, if Jackson doesn't know and understand that at some point, either they are their friends, meaning that I'm gonna be running my brother election and my brother gonna run my election. At some point, they may be running an election for one of their friends. School election, elementary, middle school, high school, college. At some point, when the rubber meets the road, somebody's gonna have an election, and I need to be able to, one, hold you accountable, but then also I need to be able to collaborate with you to make sure that you have a successful campaign and that you're running on something that truly means the best for our community and not just the best for some people. So, Matt, let's run down the next dates that we have in terms of not only programming, but then also the election season and then other events that we got coming up for the weekend.
So right now we have officially started back doing voter registration. We're going to have their groups going to be out doing voter registration. Make sure you increase the numbers and make sure people are registered to vote where they live. That increase the number of folks that participate when they vote where they live, because the precinct is usually close to your neighborhood and where you are. So that's one major thing. We're getting ready to actually have a discussion at Tougaloo College. Big shout out to Tougaloo for partnering and working with us to have a conversation to make it real plain. As Brother Hollis would say, make it plain. what is global warming and how does it affect you? How does it affect the average person? So we're going to give some backstory of the connected work for environmental justice and organizing, and we're going to give some connectivity of statistics. We're going to talk about some of the things that it affects that matters a lot to the average person when it comes to your water, comes to your food, sustainability, and shelter. So that's going to take place Wednesday, September 13th at Tougaloo College in the gym, Health and Wellness Center, 212 A and B. So we'll be there early, and it's set at this time intentionally for people when they get off work. They can come. There will be some heavy hors d'oeuvres that you can grab, so you can come straight there and grab something to eat and engage in this conversation discussion. And we put plans together because one of the plans we'll talk about disaster relief and disaster preparedness and what the average person can do to prepare for these storms and floods and these blackouts. So we want folks to share it. It's real. We ain't gonna get into no intellectual peeing contest. This is to explain what it is and for us to come up with plans and things that we can do to help look out for us and our neighbor and family and friends.
Yeah.
So this weekend is going down like folks with flats on the back of a Cadillac.
Come on with
It's
it.
going. It's happening, Captain. We got our guy Marcus Banks B&B Barbecue gonna be posted up at Hemp World South. He is cooking everything this weekend. He will be out there at 12 p.m. Getting started. The events kick off at 1. He will be doing smoked ribs, chicken,
Yes, sir.
fried chicken. Yeah, this Saturday, fried chicken, uh, pan trout, catfish, cat. He gonna have everything out there. So if you don't want to barbecue or but you want the feel, come on out and hang out with us at Hemp World South. Labor Day weekend. We got mailman gonna be on the ones and twos. He's gonna pull up later on. We're gonna be out back on the little patio area, and we're gonna have a good time. We're gonna have a really good time and enjoy ourselves. And voter registration forms will be on deck, and we're gonna sit out there and enjoy the times because it's gonna be cooler this weekend than it has been in a while. And September is bringing in some real summer days. You know, I don't know what we had before, but we're gonna have, and it's something serious when we global warming. When you really enjoy 95-degree weather, it's something different when you enjoy 92-degree weather.
Have
So
mercy. No mercy. Hey,
yeah,
for real,
and
bro.
and Feel Good Friday. You don't want to come by here in World South. Check out Feel Good Friday. Just a good old fashioned game night. Have fun and play some games. Play the culture taboo, jumbo Jenga. We got the spades. We got the 2-for-1 slushies. Come through and people, everybody, and we thank everyone that come and support. Uh, the goal was to create a real therapeutic environment, and people said the environment itself just feels so relaxing. It makes you want to relax and sit there and chill. We usually have some good stand up comedy or something on the TV, and we're gonna have a good time. But Chuck, we might need to talk, man. We might need to look at trying to do karaoke once or twice a month there on a
Hey,
Friday night.
hey,
You know,
but that karaoke had a bird with him, boy.
hey, karaoke period.
Hey,
And Chuck does not have the traditional karaoke setup. You got to check Chuck. If you want to have a good time, especially with you, you need to holler at Chuck about the photo booth, and you need to holler at Chuck about his karaoke. The
I appreciate
karaoke is very engaging. I'm just saying it's different, man. You got to do what you got to do.
it. Think
We
so?
believe in having a good time. It's different from traditional karaoke. You got first of all, you got a catalog you can go through that's very extensive,
Yeah, from your phone.
and
You can do it from your phone.
and you can just figure out like I got to pick my song
And it
and
load
yeah,
up.
and
Yeah.
ready to go, right? So you get in, it's a good old fashioned fun, but also is connected with some updated technology. So you'll really enjoy karaoke and the photo booth.
Hey man,
So
you got to clip this up and put that in the in the Instagram or something, man. I appreciate that.
hey,
Uh,
hey,
as we wrap it up, man, look, we definitely want to remind you that your voice matters at the ALC. That's the annual legislative conference. You can be a part of the conversation that drives policy and change. Early bird registration for the 52nd annual legislative conference is available. until September 5th. That is coming up very soon. So look, Congressional Black Caucus Foundation, September 20th through the 24th, Washington, D.C., cbcfinc.org/ALC. And man, look, y'all better get ready for the 8th annual Mississippi Black Business Expo presented by Higher Purpose, featuring the market, the food court, the sessions, shop, learn, build. That's November 11th, 2023. We got the QR code there, or you can hit the link tree, MS Black Pages. Look, we got the speakers, we got the businesses, we got the food trucks. Start off in the morning, we'll be in the Benny G. Later on that day, we'll be in the Owens Health and Wellness Center. And then we'll finish off that night. I'm pretty sure Mac is going to plan some sort of social activity for us where we will finish out this entire weekend of Black excellence and Black business in the state of Mississippi, in the city of Jackson, in true Tougaloo fashion. We're gonna build it up and we're gonna party it out, baby. So look, with that being said, we got to get the wait, what? Going to where the money reside, baby. Gotta get to the money. Resources, man. We appreciate y'all for tuning in, tapping in, checking in. Facebook user, we appreciate you for tuning in and checking in. I really appreciate y'all. If y'all would give us a like on Facebook, give us a follow on Instagram. This has been Nightcap Knowledge. We do this each and every Tuesday, 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. or so Central. Put some on your head before you go to bed. We'll see y'all next week, man. Make sure you tap into all the things that we talked about. Learn something. Go and grow, baby. We'll see y'all soon. Peace.